Haven't they ever told you, don't go on after lunch? Everybody's like,
Turn on your mic. Turn on your mics, yo.
oh, yeah.
So in,
Hold on just a minute.
oh, it's still not, oh, okay. I saw the green light.
Are we ready? Okay, we will reconvene from our lunch break. We got Isaac with our wastewater treatment plant budget request.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Councilors, Pro Tem, Senator Dodge. So,
In this budget, right, in the personnel section, he is, currently has 10, full-time, employees, and he is not asking for additional personnel at this time. So if you want to just highlight some of
Do you have any vacancies?
we do at the moment, we did interview last week a gentleman that's gonna be our traveling position. He's gonna work one month in the wastewater plant and 1 month in the water department. That way we can start cross-training and get him duly certified, to start getting some certifications in this, in
That's
the
nice.
departments.
Have you been doing that?
Nope, we are gonna start, he starts on May 8th. And he'll start his 1 month, and then we will trade with Randy. He has another gentleman that we're gonna do that with.
You'll be swapping then.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
person there at the plant. It's just that they're gonna rotate back and forth.
So that would then put you whole?
What's that?
That would put you whole with that one person?
Nope, I have one more full-time operator position that needs to be filled as well.
Okay.
Yes,
Right.
it's
It's
current.
currently budgeted. So this new position, level 1, level 2,
Unfortunately, he doesn't have any.
they're not
levels.
having anything, just starting them up from the
Yes, sir.
bottom. Okay.
And you know, surprisingly, even though we put it out, with no levels, we didn't have that many applicants at all. I
Right.
thought we were gonna have a bunch of them, but no, we didn't.
Nobody.
Not surprising to me.
But
And-
eventually we'll have they'll have a double 1, a double 2, double.
Yes.
Right.
Oh,
Yep. That way you can test for water and wastewater.
Nice.
do you have to work like so long in those areas
Yes,
before
you
you
do.
can test? Oh,
You have to have so much experience in the water and in the wastewater. Before, laboratory experience, counted towards water experience or wastewater, but that's not anymore. They changed the rules on that. Any questions on the vacancies? So we're just going-
No, I'm good
you can
there.
go just any accounts that have changed,
Oh.
or anything you want to highlight.
So, I have mine right here.
Okay, that's fine.
So, as you know, things are starting to go up, so we've had to raise the amounts on certain things. As far as flight motors, those are going up. On our laundry service, we have enough for 10 people right now. And the reason it's so important to us is because we do get microorganisms
Oh, yeah.
organisms all over us, and they do use a high temperature water and detergent to kill all those microorganisms. So we really appreciate having that luxury to have our laundry done for us, and I'd like to thank you guys for that.
Do you have to change your clothes before you, when you leave? Or
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we put fresh ones on when we come in, and before we go home, it's a rule that we just take them off and go home fresh, as to not get
Yep.
anything on our families.
Yeah.
We've kept our subscription and dues the same, our postage the same. Our office supplies, we've kept it the same. Janitorial, we went up just a little bit just because of, gloves and, just different things like that, but not by much, just by 300. Our not cap furniture and fixtures, we only went up $200. We already got a new printer, so we're good there.
No, you went up more than 200.
What's that?
You went up
7,000.
7, 6.
Oh, I'm sorry.
6,000.
So you must be buying some
62.
kind of-
Oh, you could tell me I could put it in here. We go up there?
Those look at computer screens, products, and then a new printer for the office and
We went up-
computer screens. It went from 8,000 to
15.
15. Oh, she might have taken money out of it.
That's exactly what happened.
To go probably fund something else.
Yes,
So
that-
that's why.
That's fine. So you're leaving it the same?
Yeah, we're leaving
Leaving
it
it the same.
She took money, okay, so
Yeah.
budget adjustment was done to move money out.
Yeah,
So what does it change to for non-cap?
It's still
8,000.
15, this year, they moved money out of that account to use for something else, so it lowered the budget amount, so it looks like he had a $7,000 increase, but it really is the same.
Oh, okay.
his original budget was 13,000 in the current year.
And that's what we try to do at the end of the year. We try to pull money where we have,
Yeah, he's staying at the 15,000. That's the
Okay.
correct number.
Okay.
Because they pulled money from the year.
Right.
our utilities, I don't know what the original was.
We bumped it up to 550 from 522.
Just because of the electrical use, it's, you just never can tell when the plant's gonna run harder, and it could possibly with more tourists in town, or it might run a little bit slower, just depends on the amount of people coming into the facility. Okay, so
How much natural gas do you run?
natural gas,
I mean,
11,526 to date right now.
because that's where you're gonna see a big jump in natural gas.
Yeah. Well, and also just the electrical, because of the motors and blowers that run the
Right.
equipment.
Do we have backup generators
Yes, we
there?
do.
I thought we did, because that question came up.
Yes, we have we have two giant ones, I have them right here.
They're not permanent?
Yes, they are.
They are permanent,
Yes,
okay.
we have one for our entrance works, one is for our, main process, our MBR blowers, and one for our UV station. Keep
Okay,
everything killed on the way out, sterilized on the way out.
okay.
But you didn't lose power the other day when we had our wind, did you?
No, we didn't. We were very fortunate to not have lost power. We did have a bump or two, but, nothing too substantial.
Okay.
But we do have a bi-weekly test on them just to make sure that they do take over power and are running properly, and we do, yearly service on them as well.
When Blair Halliday was here, and they just had the transport generators for the lift station, that was the Saturday job for the guy on duty on Saturday, was to start up those generators every Saturday and run them for like an hour. But, I mean, I didn't realize that we had that many generators.
Yes.
That's good, though.
On the old facility, we had one, and we used to, run it ourselves also every other Monday.
That's what I thought
Yeah.
there, but,
This one is programmed in a computer, so we do make sure that they are running every time they come on.
okay, good.
Any questions on utilities? On our, fuel, as you know, fuel's going up, so we did bump that up some, just to keep our generators full, our 4 vehicles and our, composting machinery, which is a front end loader and a scarab unit that we use to windrow our compost.
So Isaac, you only bumped that up $500. Is that enough?
Hopefully it is. I mean, we'll see as the time goes on, and if it doesn't, we can always, pull
Because
from
you've
some-
already spent, this year you already spent 7,200. The year before that, you only spent 4,800.
Right.
So,
So hopefully, like I said, hopefully we'll be able to manage with that amount. Our tools, we have $10,000 in there. We're pretty good. I try to get everybody everything they need as far as having the proper tools that they need to get the jobs done. They're pretty good about putting them away and, not losing them or,
so that, did you guys take money out of that? Because you only had 5,300 in the current year's budget.
yes, we did.
Okay.
Yeah, they did 4,000.
Our safety equipment, what our original was, we have 10,000 this year, and, that's just to cover our gloves, our respirators, our boots, our safety equipment, our electrical safety equipment, harnesses, and our work boots for nine employees. We're pretty, good on safety right now. That's actually our most important part of our job, is just keeping everybody
Yes.
safe.
Absolutely.
Our laboratory expenses, we did go up, where's that one go? Or did we just keep, we went up 10,000. we have it up to 50,000, and that's just because of things that are going up as far as chemicals and things to do, to run our chlorine residual, our E. coli, things like that. Our chemicals,
You use gas, chlorine?
no, we don't.
Okay,
It was, we did for the 12 years that I first started, and then we went to no, actually for 18 years.
longer, yeah, but we're,
Till 2011 is when we got rid of it.
okay,
And that was a wonderful day, because we did have
Yeah.
ton cylinders for half of my career out there. So we have UV lights, which is a lot safer, and
right.
I like it better. That's a dangerous chemical to have
Oh, yeah.
on site, especially in ton cylinders. But that was good to see that go.
Good.
Our chemicals, we put in 200,000, and that's just for our aluminum sulfate. As you can see, that's the one that we use to take out our phosphorus. We use approximately 100 gallons a day just to meet our permit. Hopefully on our new permit, which I doubt, they'll give us a lax number, but I doubt it. But I have a feeling it'll either stay the same and hopefully not tighten down any more than what it is, because as you can see, we're having used quite a bit. And aluminum sulfate does have a negative effect on the filters themselves, so it's a double-edged sword. I mean, we meet permit, but we're also damaging the equipment in the process. We do use polymer for our thickener and belt press, and that's to save on space as far as our digester goes. We use sodium hypochlorite, which is a chlorine and an acid for our filter cleans to keep them running correctly, to get rid of the hardness as well as the organics that build up on our filters. We do those cleans every month just to keep the facility running optimal. We also have a chemical called MPE 50, which is it's a chemical that you put into the facility, and it helps prolong the life of the filters. It cleans them off and keeps them running properly. On our, any questions on the chemicals? So on our plant maintenance, we have 384,000. That's for our high dollar items such as our blowers and flight pumps. I can always tell when things are going to start breaking down as far as motors and blowers. They last for a good 1 to 2 years before they start malfunctioning and breaking down, and then we got to send them in for repairs. So this year is probably going to be a big year of repairs, because last year was a little bit less than what I thought. So, and they do run 24/7. They run all the time, 365 days a year, so they're always running. But we do try to do regular maintenance on them and oil changes and greasings just to keep them, the life expectancy prolonged and up and running properly.
Do you have some on stop?
Yes, we do, sir.
Okay, so that way you could switch out pretty quick.
And we have one on standby, but we're trying to get at least 2 things on standby now, just because of experience that it just never fails. You put the standby one, and then the other one breaks, so
Right.
you got to wait for them to get repaired, and sometimes they're backed up months at a time. So I'm trying to get 2 of everything now as far as stock goes.
Good.
That plant maintenance is also for the Kubota cassettes and filters. We're not going to buy cassettes this year. We're going to only buy filters because of the size of them. They're just so bulky, so they're taking up space in the facility, and we're running out of space to put them in. And you really don't want them outside in the weather, so
Right.
so we're going to buy the membranes, the filters themselves, so we can keep them inside the buildings.
So do you have like a rotation schedule?
Yes, we do.
So that way you know how many you're changing out and ordering at that time?
Yes, and actually we've been doing our 12-hour shifts for the last 3 weeks, so we've been doing the filter cleans. And what I'm finding, I still have some filters from the original onset of the plant, which was in 2011, and they're still running good. So we're only replacing the ones that are compromised, whether they have holes in them or they're. So we're trying to save money that way, but we're also getting to the point where we're starting to replace more and more of them, just to get those new ones used and the old ones out,
Right.
just to keep the plant running efficiently.
So what would you say the life expectancy?
I've gotten 10 or 11 years out of them already.
Really?
And what was the manufacturer?
10 years is what they said, and then that's it. They're no good no more.
Right.
But I kind of doubt that. I think that they can be pushed a little bit further.
So,
And,
but,
and we're, as long as we're meeting permit and as long as we're putting out, good water out to the river, that's the main thing. And we're saving money by also prolonging that, and that's where we are right now with that. Like I said, we just got done this week doing another basin worth of filters, and like I said, I'm finding some damaged one, but not that many.
Okay.
We're doing pretty good.
okay,
And when we do replace those fine screens, that will help keeping out some of the debris that's damaging
Right.
these filters. Like I told you, those BBs from the airsoft guns are getting in, and they're making holes in them.
oh, wow,
You know, and you wouldn't think they would, but they get in between and they start rubbing together and they make a hole in the filter. Well, that hole allows material out of our plant to go out.
go through,
Yeah, so we're finding a lot of that, but hopefully with the new fine screens, that'll eliminate a lot of that stuff.
okay.
Any questions on plant maintenance? Next is our contingency fund. I think we pulled a little bit of money out this year for some reason, but we have $20,000 in there. Our contractual services, we have $45,000, and that was for an internship program to try to get people to get into the program, because we can't find, people coming out of college. There's only, I think the last time I talked to my old professor, there was only like 4 graduates a year, as for when I graduated, there was like 20 or 30 of us, so it's just
Wow.
been a decline in this field. There's some other money for the sewer line project and Copper Canyon property acquisition, so our contractual services is $88,357. Our contract legal services is, I think those are just.
Wait. Your contracted service, 88,000?
It has 45 on the.
Yes, 45, yes.
Yeah, here it is, 45, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
it looks like she's gonna
Roll
roll
over.
over.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's 45.
Yeah,
She's
40.
anticipating her rollovers at the end of this fiscal
okay.
year to add on
Okay.
to the, his budget, so.
I
Okay,
apologize for that. The
No,
one
no
that I have right
worries.
here, it's kinda, it shows it didn't show the rollover like that. So on, 52001, our contract legal services, we have 52,122. That's also a rollover from Montgomery Andrews and, JUB Legal Services. On our engineering services, we rolled that money over as well. We have 64,457 from a 91,000 balance.
Just go over the ones that there's balances, let's not go over the rollovers, cause
Oh,
it makes
okay, I'm
it makes
sorry.
it a little bit confusing.
Yeah, no.
Cause they don't see it on their paperwork.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry about that.
So the next one will be telephone.
Telephone? Okay.
You can
but
go-
it's good to know that money's coming into that line item for next budget year, so.
Oh, yeah.
Wanna hear it?
And Judy is doing a great job at
so-
rolling over the money and, keeping it flowing. That way we don't have to start all over
Right.
fresh.
Right.
The next one is our telephone. We have $3,800 in it, and that's for our plant cell phone, our fog phone, and long distance and Wi-Fi for the tablets that we do use around the facility, as well as the grease, the FOG, the fats, oils, and grease program.
But Isaac, it shows you spent 4,900 already this year.
You might have to bump that one up.
We might have to bump that one up then. Oh, that was because of our tablet usage that we did get for the fats, oils, and greases that we didn't.
Telephone?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So you purchased tablets through there?
Yes, sir. Yes, we
Okay.
did.
So that's,
And that'll help us as far as keeping track of our fats, oils, and grease program outside of the facility. We did get new ones for in facility as well, that we
Okay.
can use to keep track of our maintenance and repairs that we do on equipment out there.
okay.
Isaac, what's a fog telephone?
Oh, the fats, oils, and greases, and that's
Oh,
for
fats, oil, and grease,
the
okay.
customers at the restaurants. That way they can call my employee directly, as for not to bother anybody else. We give them that number and they only deal with him.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
Insurance and bonds, we just, have that in there. 135,090. The next one is our travels and schools. I think we bumped that up from 5,000 to 6,000, and that's just because of our new employees to keep them certified and to get them the proper training to get those certifications.
Does that recap into, is it cost over for this budget?
So training and development, we have $5,000 in there. That's just in case if we can start traveling again to get training for our Alma actuators, which is a specialty type training. And there are actuators, they're just valves that open up automatically. That way we know how to calibrate them and work on them ourselves. Because to try to contract a tech to come out, they have to come from either Pennsylvania or Philadelphia, and to fly them out and have them work on things is expensive. So if we can get that training, we could save the village a lot of money to do it ourselves.
Do you have to go to Pennsylvania for the training
No.
or, okay, I was gonna
For our
say.
VFD, it would be Chicago, but that's, we're looking at some other options.
They have an alternate training in Honolulu as well.
I see.
I'll go with you.
But no,
Did you prepare this or Cheryl?
I did my phone numbers. That's the one I used last year.
okay, so the next one is required physicals. We have 2,720, and that's for the hepatitis B shots for any kind of, for any employees that come in.
Isaac, since we were on training, do you have employees that you feel, I hope you stay for a long time, but I do know that you're getting to the point where you could retire. Do you have somebody or several people that could step into your position?
I do. I have several of them. Like I tell them, I'm an open book. I'll give you all my information. You just gotta, ask me, and I will show you everything that I know. They just need to. By the time I leave, they'll be ready to jump in and get it done.
Okay.
I won't just leave them high and dry. And
I certainly wasn't thinking that. I was just,
Brand new Harley, so he's like 7 years in.
yeah, I still gotta pay that thing off.
I love it.
And I think, Isaac, there are different levels of certification, and you're a level 4, is that right?
Yeah, I have a level 4 in water, wastewater, and I have a level 3 laboratory. I have the most certifications you can get for the state of New Mexico.
And the next person up in your line of command would have what? In
No,
terms-
that's it.
Have those certifications.
They all,
Oh, yes, and Dave does have that.
That's what I thought.
My
I knew
right-hand
there was
man
one
does
other.
have the same certifications that I do.
Right.
Oh, good, okay.
So I'm very fortunate to have him at the facility. And he's doing a great job, by the way.
He's very personable. He was very good on the tour to
Oh, yeah.
outline everything.
He's awesome. So the physicals,
So on physicals, you haven't spent any money in the last 3 years on,
because we didn't have any, new employees, why didn't we? Did it come out of another?
Doesn't HR pay for that?
Yes,
HR does pay.
yeah, I think HR paid for our last hepatitis shots, but we did always pay for them in the past, but we still have that money
when I
in there.
think I saw it in the budget for HR.
It is in the budget for HR, and you're right, it used to come out of, when the bills came in, they used to code them to all the departments.
Yes,
Now, we put all the budget in HR, so they pay for it all.
yeah.
So that could go away then?
That could go to 0.
Okay.
Cheryl, they said you're paying my bill.
I'll let
Well,
Cheryl
you're
know.
right, because is it paying it all for general fund or paying for all of them?
It's paying for all of them because they pay an admin fee.
Okay, got it.
So if he has a new hire, then that money still comes out of HR.
Out of HR.
Yeah. Okay, so our, equipment lease and rental, we have, $32,000. That's for our front end loader that we use for our sludge and composting on our solids handling portion of the facility. We do have a maintenance agreement with them where they do come in is that that's for no, the maintenance on the equipment for the Wagner is, on the rental, on the 52100. The 52102 is for our copy machine, and that's so they can come out and maintenance it. We have $292 in that. So here's the big one, our equipment maintenance. We have, we had to bump that up to 400,000. And that's just to keep the plant running as far as, belts, electrical parts that go down on it. Anything that we find wrong, we can fix it right there ourselves. And that just costs a lot of money, and everything's going up. Plastics are going up, everything, so we had to lift that number up a little bit.
What was it that you were needing to replace? Filters?
The fine screens.
The screens, yeah. Do we get that done?
No, it's not done, but it's in the master plan, and we're moving forward on that. They're doing the technical memo first on that to see if it's gonna even be, they're gonna try to find us the best solution for that area of the facility, whether it's upgrading the ones that we have presently in place or replacing them with the brand new ones. So they're gonna do that for, Molson and Corbin is gonna look
But in the
into-
meantime, is everything running okay?
Well, we're running great because we've done repairs ourselves to it.
Okay.
Okay, so vehicle maintenance, any questions on equipment maintenance?
No.
Okay, vehicle maintenance, we do have 4 trucks, a dump truck, a backhoe, a brown bear, and a scarab, and we have $2,000 in that. We do everything ourselves out there as well. We try to change the oil, and
How are your tires doing?
they're doing good.
Because 2,000 to change tires on even 2 vehicles is gonna be,
Yeah, but no, we don't, because we're only on site.
okay,
We only use it
so
to,
your mileage is nil.
oh yeah, we don't have to change them very often.
And we put the graveling in your building maintenance. The 240 to gravel, you want the gravel and the paving, we put it in your building property maintenance right here, 240.
I'm gonna put that in the detail,
You're gonna put that in?
yeah,
so-
because it's, that throws.
So on the building property maintenance, we would like to pave the facility because with time, especially in our drying beds where we compost our sludge, we do have holes starting to form, and that is it's a potential finding as far as EPA if they were to come and inspect us, because those cracks, sludge can get in there with rain. So that's why we're gonna try to pave the entire facility as to remedy any kind of questions or concerns that they might have on that.
Well, you weren't here earlier, Isaac, but all that in the capital outlay schedule, which includes your gravel and paving, has been approved.
Oh, good.
So, but you'll be taking it out of this line item, right? Or,
No, I'll leave it there because technically, according to accounting standards, if we were gonna capitalize it, we would have to maintain it at a certain depth all the time, and if we're not gonna master that, then it's just called maintenance.
okay.
So, Isaac, you have that project listed at 240,000,
Is it 200 or 240? Is it 200?
240,000 is what
It's
we
supposed to
got.
be 200,000.
Oh, okay, and that's why the 40,000.
And then the other 40 was supposed to be for building and property,
There you
regular
go.
maintenance.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Okay, so 200,000 for the paving and gravel.
Yeah.
So then the next account, with the JUB agreement, the Department 410 is the JUB in that fund, and then the 411 is the 100% the VOR cost. So in the agreement of the JUB, it's allocated that Department 510 is supposed to pay $92,540 of the debt service. And so that's why you only see that amount. But as you recall, we have, council approved that we're gonna prepay off the 2 loans
Yeah.
that we currently have, but my call date isn't till July 2023, which will be fiscal year
24?
24. So you will see a debt service payment just a regular annual amount. However, that's already being allocated out of cash and not out of operating, revenues.
Okay. On that note of cash, I went to our budget report here, because I've been trying to keep in touch with that, looking at, for the solid waste, we're at 13,092,835.53.
8.8 or 8.9 million is set aside to call those two debt issues. And then 2.4 is allocated as the match to the FEMA grants on the sewer line. And then the residual was set aside for, equipment, replacement. And of course, a part of that is the courts reserve, the 15% of 15. I don't have an exact amount of what that is, but it's really small. It's like 100 or 200,000 off the balance that they set aside for any capital equipment outlays that they have during the year.
Okay.
But I can get you a breakdown of the cash balance and how it's allocated.
At our next budget hearing, that would just be good to be listed.
Yes.
Because as we reduced our fee for it there, I just wanted to see, is it leveling out, or are we starting to sink on our reserve?
So right now, our reserve is still high because I can't pay off the debt yet. But once I pay the debt on July 1st, it's gonna go.
It's gonna drop.
And then as we get progress along in the sewer line, and we have to, we end up using a lot of the money that was advanced, we'll have to start transferring our matches in order to cover, whatever expenditures we're gonna be paying forward.
Right. Have we got an estimate calculation of the sewer line at Town and Country? How many residents will be connecting? Do we have that yet?
Adam has that, maybe.
Adam has it, I think we do, but
Just, I mean, even if it's an estimate in there, because that's where I'm comparing this drop, like you said, but with the new customers
Right.
going online, how much will that affect?
I
'Cause
can't remember the number, but there is
I thought it was a substantial, I mean, number of residents that would have to connect. Okay,
Did Sam have it? I saw Sam in the hallway. Oh, Adam.
okay, thank you. Anything else, Isaac?
I think that's it.
you know, Mayor Pro Tem Councilors, I did find a discrepancy on the salary schedules.
Okay,
And, you know, by my calculation, it's right about $900,000 discrepancy. So can I cover that real quick? Can I cover that real quick? It looks like we have a formula problem. If you go to this sheet here. There's a formula problem when you go to the service credit. As you recall, we paid about the service credits, and we've already completed that. It was March 23rd of last year was the last one of when we put it in place. That's probably where you didn't change your formula, Judy, or whoever built the spreadsheet didn't change the formula. But the service credit is 1% now. It's not 5 over 5 years or whatnot. So if you look, at, you know, just to make it simple, you look at the deputy village clerk. The annual salary is currently $60,000, so, this credit here comes out to $3,200. You know, 1% of the $60,000 is $600.
right,
So that's a big discrepancy. So if you go to the last page, it gives you a total of all departments. Your total salaries, for everybody is at 12 million. If you times that by your 1% service credit, that's only 120,000. As opposed to 1,009,753. That's a big, in our favor.
Okay, good catch.
Yeah,
So-
Judy fixes that formula, then it'll carry
Carry through all the way.
every time you give us some savings. But then recall, we still haven't addressed the
Insurance.
increase of the-
Of the insurance, yeah, that's,
I just wanted to point that out.
okay.
So then we're only short
10%.
$2 million in healthcare.
It always kind of works out.
Can I just ask
Yeah.
Isaac some, Isaac, I've never come out to the wastewater treatment plant. When's a good time to come and visit and
Anytime you
take a
want, just
tour?
let us
I
know.
knew he was gonna say that anytime,
I know.
but not Mondays or not Friday. Well, it's good to go out Fridays, cause sometimes they have really good cookouts in the summertime. Man, I mean, I tell you,
He retired.
that's there. Did he?
Yes. he
Oh,
retired, so
man.
he's no longer there.
No more cookouts?
No.
I'm not cooking
Once
out
in a
there.
while, we can make a special arrangement though.
I don't want us, I don't want to be a burden. I want to, go where I can take a tour.
Sure, I mean, Monday or Tuesday or whenever, just let me know.
No, Mondays and Fridays aren't good, so what day is a good day?
I guess Tuesday would be good, or,
Okay,
6 de Mayo.
Stay at 1.
is he gone?
Council meeting.
Oh. I'll be there.
just let me know and we'll schedule it in and we'll get it done.
Okay, thank you very much.
And just for FYI, we did, I will be signing the new permit on Monday or Tuesday for the application, and we will be sending it to the EPA, and we will be hopefully getting a good one in the next few months.
Good.
Just cross our fingers.
So is that where we're trying to get the cold water?
No,
changed?
this is
No,
for
this
the
is something
actual
else
5-year
for the plant.
permit.
Okay.
And we'll see if we'll have a lower nitrogen and phosphorus limit or a higher one.
Right.
So,
Are we still hauling sludge to Mr. Williams' property
yes, we are, but, we're through for the season.
for the season?
Yes, sir. But there's always compost for anybody to come and pick up for your yards if you guys want.
Right.
You just can't use it on
Gardens.
garden
Bearing,
vegetables.
like tomatoes or,
Yeah.
it's not gonna hurt you, but it might have the flavor of sludge. There might be somebody that's into that.
Oh, God. Eat shit.
I don't know about
Yeah.
So if it has a flavor of sludge and we put it on our yards, would that keep deer away?
No, I think, well, it would make your grass grow so it'll
Yeah,
attract.
but I didn't know if the smell would,
That
No,
just brings in the mountain lions.
well, that's okay.
and it doesn't smell bad, just to let you guys know, it doesn't. Maybe
'Cause
my-
you've got
Maybe
it.
my scent is dulled though, but
right.
Because it's squeaky clean.
it's squeaky clean, it really is. But,
Okay.
anything else?
No, thank
Anything
you
else
so
for
much.
Isaac? Isaac, you're doing a great job
Yeah,
and your
thank you
crew,
so
we
much.
appreciate you.
And we appreciate you guys for everything you do for us, thank you, and you guys have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too.
Isaac, take some salsa.
See you at the.
Hey,
Yes.
thank you very much. Where did it come from?
That used to be the Optimist Club, used to make that and sell it. And so I've got a ton of it at the Boys and Girls Club that they gave to us. We can't sell it, so we're
Darren, have
just
you ever
giving
taken
it away.
a tour?
Well, thank you very much, I'll put it at the plant, we'll indulge.
John
Thank
died.
you.
If, stop by sometime and I'll give you another box. Just take the whole box to all the guys.
Yeah, cause we like salsa, we eat it with chips and.
Yeah.
It is.
No, we've got probably 15
I've
cases or
always
more.
wanted to go.
So, yeah, come grab a box.
Thank you very much.
You'll
You
be,
guys have a great day.
Thanks so much, Isaac.
Can they auction it at the Hope Harbor?
Thank you, Judy. Thank you.
Yeah.
If they want to,
I'll ask them.
yeah.
I'm sure they'll take it, a case or whatever.
Thank you, Tim.
You know, Mayor Pro Tem, on the rest of the enterprise, they're pretty much flat, just kind of,
That's-
the same type of.
That's what I thought too, and it was just the capital, outlay request that was really discussed, and I think we covered all that.
Yeah. Then, in the housing, that's one of the things that I want to cover real quick is,
Yes,
and with some of the grants, we don't have it in yet, and as soon as we do, get in some of the grants, we're gonna have $3.5 million coming in for the consolidated dispatch and for the Department of Public Safety building. So in August, September is when they usually let those severance grants come through. So we'll be seeing that increase of $3.5 million, and we'll bring that back as a bar. And then in addition to that, we have our housing at a $980,000. My intent with that is to use that for our commitment for the Meacham property next to the Dollar General, and look at a reallocation for that coming year, or trying to get that 9%. And then with this property and that we have here on Meacham, the 600 Meacham, and then Mashburn, you know, and just conceptually, these are the plans that Mesa Housing is approaching at a market rate.
Yeah,
of housing. And so, one of the things that we're considering right now, you know, Ron has sent in a request for 1.3 million to DFA.
We saw those yesterday.
Funds that they have set aside for 10
I don't
million.
know if Jim saw them.
This week, we talked to Donnie about increasing that to a $2 million request, and then utilizing the $1 million that we have currently in the Housing Trust Fund to match that. These units here cost about $300,000 per unit. And the thought is that we would build these on one of those two properties and start off building, you know, 2 to 3 of these at a time. And they're fourplexes is what they are. On the bottom floor, there's two bedrooms, and then on the top, it's 2 one-bedrooms.
Okay.
On that one there.
And that's for you're looking at the Mashburn place for those?
You know, the big, thing that they were talking about before, it was, you know, the market rate, or using the project-based vouchers and 9%. These would be market rate housing. And, you know, conceptually, they just drew it out like that, but it could be less, it could be more, it could not even be considered if you guys want. But, you know, I think even the Midtown, I've had some initial conversations with some of the Midtown people, and they're saying they understand the housing need now. You know, this whole thing, if it was, you know, a couple of years back, and I think there would have been a whole different flavor. Even, you know, Jasper and those guys have been posting about the workforce issues that we're facing. So there could even be a potential of putting these on the 600 Meacham property and kind of scattering them. We don't have to do a whole lot of them. Even with that design there, you know, across from the ball field, we have that vacant lot next to the fire station, you know, on the opposite side.
Right.
Where that layout would fit perfect, and you put, you know, that fourplex right there, you know, on Sunny Slope as you turn up, and it'd be a nice little addition.
All I know, there's a main sewer line that goes right through that ball field in there, so it'd be where the skate park is and
On the opposite side.
on the opposite side, yeah.
Opposite side of Sunny Slope. There's that vacant lot.
Right.
Used to back up to where Chief Chavez's mobile home used to be.
Oh, I see where you're saying.
Oh,
I
right
thought that was a
there.
floodplain though. I thought,
I think it's listed as a village lot, and it's actually a sizable lot.
okay.
Oh, I
There's
didn't know
always a
that
guy
was
smoking
ours.
a cigar out there in the
I didn't
garage.
realize that was ours.
I
You
didn't
know where they
either.
painted the Texas flag and then the Mexico flag on
Yeah.
that garage?
Yeah,
That
right
lot.
there.
That's what he's
I'll
talking about.
be darned.
And there's other lots that we could look at, you know, doing this type of design and placing them, but, you know, what I'm saying is that, you know, I think what the request that we put in with Donnie is we could basically do about $3 million worth of projects and start, you know, scattered type of, on different properties doing this as well. You know, that's, and I went back to that grant agreement that's gonna be coming in. Now in July, we'll be getting the grant agreement, you know, that are part of the junior bills. There's 2 of them in there. And that one's let on the current, it's general fund dollars, so we should get those quicker. One of them's an $80,000 grant for the Midtown Association. That's a direct administrative grant that will be able to pass through to them. And then the other one is a $230,000 grant that was approved, and that's for sub-grant agreements to go to the business owners to do facade improvements and whatnot. So I would assume that we'd be developing a process where we would administer it, because several of those members that are on the board, you know, are potentially gonna be applying for like Dakota, Lance Rowe and the people that are doing some of that development down there, Mike Cheney and people like that need to improve their facades and whatnot. So I wanted to bring that up because those are other grants that are coming in. There's a couple that Eric's working on for the BRIC grant for the river restoration and then working with the Environment Department. But we won't recognize those revenues until we get the grant agreements.
Right.
On those particular properties there, because they're showing, say, a design or at least a concept of the housing on the different properties, do those all have to be 100%, I would just say, applied for and then built on right then, or can they be in phases? Let's just say the Meacham property, can that, with however many units are on there, there's several. Yeah, you would do a site plan for the whole property and then build them out in phases. In phases, yeah, so like say maybe 3 or 4 phases. Yeah, and then as we set it back up, just like we talked about this house over here off of Hall, we're gonna be putting that revenue back into the housing trust, so then it starts creating its own enterprise. And then, you know, these ones here, we'd put it out for a local property manager to manage them on our behalf and hire local maintenance guys to manage them, and then the revenues that we generate go back into that housing trust, and it just starts to create its own enterprise to where you can, you know, we build our own mechanism of building housing without having to be reliant on the 9% tax credit and then having to stick to that, you know, low to moderate income numbers and things of that nature. So we basically create our own authority.
Tim?
Yeah, would we, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
In that, would we develop our own, say, renter policy? Or tenant policy? The housing managers would do that on our behalf.
One of the things I've heard, and it comes through the State Realtors Association and their attorney, is that if we're talking about doing vouchers on any of the properties, that a property manager has to take Section 8 on all properties that they're managing.
Yeah,
So,
that's anti-discrimination laws.
correct. So we may have a hard time, if we're planning on taking vouchers, we may have a hard time finding a property manager to manage, because then that means all of their, rest of their ones that they manage
Yeah.
have to be open for Section 8 housing. So that's something to consider.
I didn't think about that.
I didn't, it sounds screwy to me. It should be by property owner, but
And they're scattered all over the community. There's over 100 vouchers throughout Lincoln County and currently, but the ones that they're being talked about before that everybody was opposed to was having project-based vouchers.
right,
You know, to where they were stuck to that property.
yeah. So Tim, you said these buildings are $300,000 apiece?
With the site plan and everything, they're right about 300,000 is what they're priced out.
Okay, and it's a 1 2-bedroom and 3 1-bedrooms?
2 1-bedrooms on top
Uh-huh.
and 2 2-bedrooms on bottom.
Okay, because that's not what this is saying. And if you do the math on here, you've got 17 buildings at $12 million. That's not right, because it works out to $75,000 per unit, and the math just isn't working out with this. Because this is saying 17 buildings would be 51 1-bedroom units and 17 2-bedroom units. So,
Yeah, and that may have changed a little bit from what they showed me.
so they're pre-built and they just come in?
No, they're site built.
Oh, they're site-built.
Yeah. Site
Those are cool.
Yeah, they may have changed on this one when they laid them out and whatnot.
So, yeah, given the numbers you said, it would be less expensive than that. Wouldn't be $12 million.
When he was talking to me, he talked about 200,000 per unit, and then the site development wasn't included in that.
Okay.
So I just assumed the site development would be about another third. That's why I threw out the 300,000 per unit.
Yeah, so instead of $12 million for the 17 buildings, it would be 5.1 million. That's a lot of housing for $5 million. $5 million is a lot of money, but it's a
Yeah.
lot of housing for $5 million.
How many units was that?
It would be 17 buildings is what it said, so
Yeah, and
17
there's
times
4,
4.
yeah. Okay.
But at $300,000, it works out to $75,000 per unit, you know? That's, you try and build a place for
It's
somebody.
approximately 300,000 per building, right?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, it's, yeah, you try and build a thing for 75,000, you're gonna get a nice storage shed.
And these are all the common walls and
Yeah.
staircase and all that stuff that, you know, you save on when they build like that.
And they're all furnished, and
Not furnished.
not furnished, but washer, dishwasher if they have it, utilities and stuff
Yeah,
like
we
that.
didn't get that far into the details, but, yeah. But, you know, I'm just talking conceptually and, you know.
Conceptual.
What happened to the, you know, when we were talking the other day, bringing in the house and just setting it on the pad? That's only a house.
That's a different project, and when we look at that, you know, what they're looking at is, it looks more like a manufactured home.
Yeah.
So, you know, if we're gonna propose that project, what I would say is that we look at that property that Gary Lynch has next to the mobile home park and next to the Dollar General.
Yep.
And look at purchasing that and then creating that type of a mobile home park in that area. And that's the easy, quick fix to roll some homes in and get them, you know, built out pretty fast. But my opinion, you know, Ron and I have talked briefly, I haven't gotten, Counselor Hooker's opinion, but to me, those units look more like a mobile home, and they wouldn't be conducive on those other properties.
No, it would go good on that property, because it's adjoining the other mobile home property.
Yeah.
So,
But it would take a long time to build all of that.
Yeah, it's gonna take time, and, you know, that's, you know, we need to have several different approaches, you know.
Yeah.
The one approach is gonna go back and say, we're gonna target the 9% tax credits. That's gonna take another year just for the applications to be heard, and it may not score. And
Yeah.
my argument, you know, we continue going down that same road, and that tax credit program, the way that it's designed with the point system, is it gives us an unfair advantage in comparison to communities that are laid out in lot, block, and square.
Yeah.
And so the way that this community is laid out with our, you know, Meacham and Sedgwick, business districts, and it's just stretched out, not being in that proximity to Main Street or to a metropolitan redevelopment area, we lose those points and we're not competitive. And then it's like 500 feet, short of being too close to, you know, groceries and fresh fruits and things of that nature, so we lose points. And, you know, so just some of those things aren't, to our advantage in comparison to Albuquerque, Hobbs, Santa Fe, you know, some of those other larger communities.
well, and like you said, it's a year just for the application process, and then if we do get awarded, you know, there's no guarantee, but if we do get awarded, then it's a whole nother long period past that, and so you're looking at 2.5 years out, probably, possibly.
I was just a little excited, and it wasn't a lot of housing, but, you know, when we were talking about bringing something in that was already built,
Get
you know.
it set
that
up
ma-
and occupied.
Well, and that's still where
Exactly.
the idea that he was talking with that other property on the other side of that Dollar General, with the mobile home looking places, put those in there, that gets that going, and then you start taking those rents and you start rolling it forward, and we keep adding more and more and more.
I thought that they just I didn't think it looked like mobile home. I thought it looked like a tiny house.
The ones that you saw were out of the Clayton manufacturing, or it was a different manufacturer? The one
So
that
what Ron and I went to Albuquerque Friday a week ago. And we went up to the Clayton, which that's the namesake, but it was another name,
Creston or
Karsten.
Karsten.
Okay,
Karsten Homes?
so that was where we went to the plant, we watched them make them. Yeah, they look great, all this kind of stuff, but they come in on a set of wheels.
I
So
know.
they're,
Okay.
so that's part of the problem, no matter what. And then the facades that they made weren't what we had seen in the presentation when we sat there that day. That was a different company. So we don't even know so much about that.
That other company is like out of Oklahoma, so the transportation costs and
gonna
then the
cost a lot of
availability.
money.
These ones there in Albuquerque are built there, and they could guarantee production within, a short, time frame, so many per week until they built it out,
Got it.
so.
Then you gotta get them, classified as permanent foundation.
Yeah, then you would tie them down and, do a permanent foundation and everything else on them.
So I have one more question. For the CDBG grant project on page 102, we don't have anything budgeted for the next year. Okay.
So, outside of SGRT, there's no capital projects, being introduced into this budget. So all of 300 series, the FEMA, the deal bond, the magistrate court, CDBG, and general CIP, will just be on a rollover, considering the projects that are currently budgeted in the year, and they will be budgeted in the, new fiscal year, once I close out the books on, whatever remaining balance.
Whatever's left.
What about Pine Springs CDBG?
That's what I was thinking, that would have
Pine
been
Cliff.
in this one.
Yeah, that's,
Pine Cliff.
What'd I say?
the
Pine
application,
Springs, I meant Pine Cliff, yeah.
the application is, this cycle, so until we receive the grants, we don't recognize it on the books. But, it is being built out as far as the geo bonds, so you'll find that project in the geo bonds under the design and,
Okay, so all the community development department that's putting this together, they're going door to door like they had to do in Town and Country?
that one's being handled by Adam.
So, okay, so is there anything put in there extra in his budget for that?
It's already budgeted.
It is, okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing that part, but. Good.
Because going back to Pine Cliff, I know we were talking about a exchange junction for Hollywood and Pine Cliff subdivision in water.
Yes,
That's already done, right?
that's in there, yes.
Okay. I wasn't for sure when trying to answer
Yeah, all the
someone.
design's pretty much complete, and now we're working through the application process. And part of the income survey that the mayor's talking about, we couldn't proceed with that methodology until the new wage rates were out there, or not the wage rates, but the income levels were approved, so, and that was just as of recent.
Okay.
Tim, I was just telling him about what you'd found as far as that service credit thing.
Yeah.
Told him that was a big
That it was in
thing.
the savings,
It would be a plus.
in addition to it, an additional million?
Yeah, it was a formula deal because we phased out the service credits, Mayor, from the
Yeah.
5% down to the 1.
Uh-huh.
So when you look at the calculations in that column, it's incorrect. So if you simply go to the last page and you look at the total $12 million salaries and times it by 1%, you come out to $100,000 as opposed to a $900,000 liability there.
Okay.
Can we go back to housing just for 2 seconds?
Sure.
So, what all would have to take place to get that started? I mean, we have to have a master plan, and we have to do all, I mean,
Yes. Yeah, and as Zeke alluded to, they've sent me a proposal for the site plan for the Meacham property.
Okay.
As I recall, I haven't reviewed it in detail, but, it was right about $53,000 for a site plan. And then once we get into, that, then there's gonna lead to a traffic study and, just other types of things on both properties if we consider it.
why do we have to have a traffic study?
Because you're gonna be accessing the highway.
That was one of the biggest complaints that we had from the other ones that we've tried. You're gonna impact traffic so much that it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that, so we actually have to do those things to find out how we do impact it, if any, and then what measures we would take to offset the impact. Because if we just go in there and put it in, we have to do the homework too.
We have to do a site plan just like anybody else would.
I get it. So, I mean, we're still talking years.
No, this could go pretty quick, actually.
We have the money, we could get the site plan done, we've already got, the the engineers that we're working with, we've already talked to one of them. And then we just need some sort, you talking about the one next to Michael J's?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's where Catlin gave me a cost proposal for the engineers and the site.
Yeah. And then if we decide that we like those quadplexes, did you see, well, you didn't really get to see a rendering of what they look like, but in place those around in there. And then at the same time, we could do the traffic study, which is just the hose across the road, you know, boom, 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 get all that put together. And I guess we'd have to have a public hearing.
Yeah.
I think on that property there, you know, the multifamily housing under a certain amount of units is a permissive use. You know, we'd go through a site development plan where we'd be proposing, you know, the site development to the planning and zoning board, but, you know, the guidelines are there. So I believe it's a permissive use on that site. I think over on the other property, if I'm not mistaken, it's a conditional use on that, because it's a mobile home park.
Right. And then one of the things that we're pushing hard on getting this done for not just the displaced families, but for the ones who already need housing. And we came back and we're told that after all the work that's been done on these displaced families, that there's only 4 families that need homes. Who was it that told us that?
Cindy?
Cindy Riker.
Layton?
Davis.
Or
Cindy Davis. And it's like, well, how does that work? So I know there's got to be more than that.
I think there's quite a few couch surfers out there as well.
A lot of what?
Couch surfers,
Yeah,
which are considered homeless, actually.
yeah. And so, you know, we're still moving forward as fast as we can. Now's the momentum that we need to push forward as fast as we can. But the good thing is we own the property, we have money.
Yes.
We have engineers and the folks already engaged in other projects.
I just thought that building takes a lot longer now that it's hard to even get building material.
Well, the guy that contacted him about these quadruplexes, the
Yeah.
pre-man, so they have all that. And then Ron and Hooker went to Clayton Manufacturing Monday. We could go Monday.
We could go today.
We could go today. Yeah, we could go today to look at some of their options. And so there's things out there that we can look at with different facades on them and, you know, change our way of thinking too, because we were looking at those little cottages, you know.
I know.
So there's all these things that are making us have to re-examine the box, you know.
I didn't know all those things.
Yeah, but if you were the queen and I were the king, we could just do it. But
God, we would have like that castle.
Mayor and council, so, you know, I think that pretty much concludes, like, anything we have to present. I would assume, Judy, that we would be cleaning up, making changes, and coming back for approval before mid-May.
But good job.
Okay, at least a week before the end of the month. I've always liked to be one of the first communities to submit so that we're, oh, no problem. So that we're, you get your stuff in early, your finance directors can look at that early and you normally get it out quicker. If you wait till the last minute, then you get bombarded with the other 33 counties and 104 communities, and you end up in a pile. I think you're there, aren't you, Judy?
She can take her work with her to the Little Joe and the Familia.
And when are you gonna take it to the state?
When does it have to be to the state, by May 31st?
And so
But
Tim's
we-
wanting that on the next council meeting.
To do it by the next
And
council?
so we'll approve it, she'll get it in a week or 2 early.
And you need it the Friday before?
The Thursday, you want to put it out by
Thursday?
Okay.
Okay, is that it?
That's it.
And you know, Judy, I would just, and kind of preempt the letter that they always send out and let them know that we're deficit spending with cash and we're aware of the, because they always send out a letter that doesn't look too nice.
Yeah, you can't do this, yeah.
You're depleting your cash balances. Well, cash balances are like, you know, almost a whole year of expenditures, so
All right, is that it?
that's it.
This meeting is adjourned.
Great job.
Sorry I missed that part of it, but your buddy Arlen Vincent.
Great job, Karen and Judy.
Oh, well, I was out at the track because they had to move the training races because of all this stuff, so we had a meeting with the racing commission.